Welcome back, guys. In this video, I'll be showing you what exactly cube notations are and what finger tricks you can use to efficiently perform those cube notations. So, cube notations are basically instructions on how to turn the cube and perform certain algorithms. Cube notations is basically the language of solving cubes. They're used for scrambling and even memorizing algorithms for solving the cube. So they're pretty important to learn if you really want to know how to solve the cube and get better timings. So that's what I'll be covering in this video. So before I actually show you what the notations are, you need to know this basic thing. What the faces are. So the face that is facing in front of you or in front of me right now would be called the front face. That means this would be the top face or the up face. This would be the down face, right face, left face, and back face. So you need to memorize the position of these faces when you hold the cube in front of you, as that will be extremely important when you memorize algorithms and notations. So let's get started. So usually in notations, you would start with a letter. For example, R. So what does R stand for? R stands for right. So that means you need to turn the right face. In what direction? Clockwise. So just turn the right face clockwise, one turn, as you can see. So this would be R. And sometimes you have an apostrophe or an I following that capital letter. What does that stand for? That basically means prime, the prime of that, which is the opposite of that. So if it was RI or R apostrophe, it would mean R prime, which means turn the right face counterclockwise, like this. So that's R prime, and this is R. R prime. So this can be applied for any face. U prime, F prime, D prime. See, any face, including the left, L prime, and the back, B prime. So those are the basic notations that everyone should know before they learn algorithms. The following picture provides a summary of what I just discussed. So let's get started with the finger tricks. For R and L moves, we just use our wrists to turn and not our fingers because it'll be impractical. And yeah, this is pretty much how everyone does it. But sometimes, for some algorithms that you will see in the near future, you would have to use the thumb index pinch for doing R moves, as it would be easier to transition into other moves. And for left hand, for L prime moves, same thing, thumb index finger pinch, so it'll be easier to use the index finger for doing other moves. Now let's move to U moves. So for doing U, the easiest way and the most common way to do it is using your index finger, your right hand index finger, like this. And sometimes when you learn more advanced algorithms, you may need to do it like this with your left index finger. But if you're a beginner or even an intermediate cuber, I suggest that you don't worry about this finger trick and just focus on this. And for UI, you can use the left index finger and just do the opposite of what you did with this finger. Then again, sometimes we have to use this finger for doing certain moves if you learn advanced algorithms, but right now just focus on this. Now let's get to D moves. So for doing D, you would have to use the ring finger of your left hand and move it like this. And sometimes, of course, you can do it like this, but that's only when you learn advanced algorithms. If you're a beginner, do not worry about it. And D prime moves, you just use your right ring finger do this. Now let's move to F moves. So for doing an F move, you should use a right index finger and move it like this. So it's important to keep your left thumb right at the center of your front face, because if you keep it anywhere else, it would obstruct the move, as you can see. So, and for F inverted moves, you do it like this, just the opposite. But for F inverted moves, sometimes it could be useful to use your right thumb and just push it forward. For some algorithms, this works very well rather than this. So I suggest you learn both of them right now. Now it's time for B moves. I rarely use B moves, and even many algorithms rarely use B moves, so you don't come across this that often. But when I do, this is what I do. So for B, I use my index finger right hand and just do this, push it up. And B inverted, I do the exact opposite on my left hand. Now that we've covered all the basic notations and finger tricks, let's move on to some more advanced ones. So there's something called wide moves, when you just don't turn one face. Instead, you turn one face and all the four centers around it as well, like this. You may be saying, that's the same thing as this, right? Well, no, because when you do this, the centers also move. And when you do this, the center stays the same. So these things are called wide moves. They're denoted by lowercase letters. So if this was capital R, then this would be lowercase r. And this would be lowercase r prime. So the finger tricks would be exactly the same for every single case of wide moves. And wide moves, they usually just wide R moves, wide L moves, or wide F moves. So I suggest you don't worry about practicing these finger tricks, as they're pretty much the same as the basic finger tricks you saw before. Now let's move on to M moves. So an M move is basically when you do this. You just move the center layer and nothing else. So basically the left and right sides are being unchanged. You're moving everything else. So how do you do that? So this is maybe a little bit tricky. So for doing an M move, I personally use my left ring finger. Some people may use a right ring finger, but my left ring finger works better for me. It's all about personal choice. So this is what you do. You put it on this edge over here. You have to see your front face. And you push it up. As you can see. Just push it up. This is an M move. And M prime is the exact opposite. You push it down this time. So this is M, this is M prime. So I suggest you should practice this before, so that you can get a hang of it, as it's pretty tough to grasp in the beginning. Now coming to the final part. How do I do double moves? For example, R2 or U2. You would have seen that in many places, right? So here's how you do it. For R and L moves, R2 and L2, you pretty much just use your wrist, like this. R2, L2, L2. And for all the other notations, you have to use the middle finger, this finger. So for example, if U's like this, and U prime's like this, then U2 would go something like this. So you do one U with your index finger, and you do the other U with your ring finger. So some people may say, but it's much easier to do it like this, right? Well, if you really want to achieve high turns per second, then it would be much easier to use your middle finger as well, as you can see in the picture. I do recommend that you practice these U2 moves or any two moves with both hands. For example, U2 can happen like this, and U2 can happen on your other finger, on your other hand as well. Because it will be very useful when you're going to learn advanced algorithms in the future. So if I were to do D2, I would be doing D with my ring finger and second D with my middle finger. Something like this. If I were to do it on my right hand, same thing. And B moves, same thing. And F moves, same thing. And wide moves, again, same thing. Use your middle finger. But in R and wide R and wide L moves, there's no need to use the middle finger, just turn it with the wrist. And now finally, M2 moves. So what you do here, instead of doing an M, you should do an M prime with your ring finger and an M prime with your middle finger. So it goes something like this.